Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about differences in credit repair companies. Hello everybody, Will Frazier, Realtor and Credit Guru, and my mission is to bring you the information you need to overcome your credit obstacles of the past to turn your dream home into a reality. And if you want to stay on top of what's what as far as credit and how to improve it, I suggest you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you can get notified of any new videos I upload. So today we're going to be talking about the differences in credit repair companies and why. Because a lot of people I see tend to think that we all do the same thing, so they try to differentiate us by the price. And they let the price be the decision on which company they go with. But I'm here to let you know that that's not the most important factor. You should be more worried about what they're doing with your money compared to how much it costs. So the first major difference is going to come in how we dispute things. Okay, so the first difference is going to be the number of accounts that we dispute. There are some companies that are only going to dispute like maybe 3 or 4 accounts on your credit report at a time, and they do that in order to keep you in the process for a longer period of time. Now, the more successful thing to do is to try to dispute as many things as possible that are affecting a person's credit at once, so that that person spends less time in the process. Now, another difference is going to come in the credit bureaus that we dispute with. Some companies only dispute with 1 credit bureau or 2. It's going to be important to dispute with 3, especially if you're trying to get a house. The mortgage lenders are going to check all 3 of your reports, so it's going to be important to have all 3 of those credit reports looking good. And even if you're not trying to get a house, you never know which credit bureau different lenders check, like Wells Fargo and a credit union might check 2 different credit bureaus when you actually apply. So you never know which bureau they're going to check, so it's best to have all of them clean so that you don't have to worry about which bureau they're going to check. You can be good no matter what. Another important thing is going to be what they dispute. There are some companies that will waste time disputing accounts that aren't even likely to come off of your credit report through disputing. But anyway, you don't want a company that's going to waste time trying to dispute things that aren't even going to come off. That's a waste of your money and your time. There are also some companies that won't dispute certain types of accounts, like they won't dispute public records, even if they have errors or whatnot on them. They don't dispute certain types of accounts because they don't know how to dispute them. So it's going to be important that you know what types of accounts they will or will not dispute. Another thing that's going to be important is the letters that they use. Now, some companies are going to use template letters that they just find online, and they're just going to send those in the same that they would for any of their other customers. But it's going to be important that they have customized letters that they send to the bureaus that are based on your accounts and your situation. Now, the next difference maker between credit repair companies is going to be what they tell you when you come into their office. What you want to do is beware of any promises that sound too good to be true. If they're saying they can get everything off your credit report in the next 30 days and you don't have to worry about anything, like, that's basically too good to be true. And it's possible that they may be doing something illegal also to try to get those things removed from your credit report. Also, be wary if you hear them say anything about getting a CPN number or a secondary social. You don't want to be trying to create a second identity. You want to get your identity, your credit report, cleaned up. Also, be wary if they ask you about filing a police report, or if they say they're going to do that for you and you have not been a victim of identity theft, because there are some companies that take advantage of a law that's out there that gets stuff removed from your credit report really fast by using a credit report, but all those accounts are going to come back on your credit report within the next 30 to 60 days anyway. So again, that's another waste of your time and a waste of your money. The process of credit repair is not something that happens overnight. It's going to be something that should last a few months. And you're going to need to have patience with the process. So if you don't have patience, that's going to be one of the things you're going to have because, like I said, this is not magic. It's not an overnight quick fix. Credit repair is a process and it takes time, so that's part of the credit repair process. And any company that is a good company that knows what they're doing and they're doing things legit, they're going to tell you that up front. Okay, another major difference maker between the companies is going to be how you're able to track your progress. The very first question you need to ask is, can you track your progress? Now, I know with the big online companies, you're normally going to get some type of customer portal where you can log in and you can check the difference between month to month on what's been removed and how much your score has changed. But some smaller companies don't have that, some do, but you just have to ask them if there's a way for you to track your progress, because with some companies you just kind of have to rely on if what they say is true, and they're just going to tell you, oh yeah, you're doing fine, oh yeah, this is happening, but you can't really see and track it for yourself. And besides a customer portal, you should also have a way to track your credit reports. And if the company that you're using doesn't have a way to track your credit reports, likely what they're doing is they got your credit reports at the beginning and they're basing everything that they're doing off of those original reports without seeing if something has actually been removed or not. This is called blind disputing, and the reason why it's not beneficial to you is an account may have been removed and they may still be sending in disputes to the credit bureaus, which is again a waste of your time. And also, even if the account has not been removed, they may have only sent one round of disputes out, and that account may still be there, and they may assume that it's gone and they stop disputing it, but it's still sitting there, which can also be a waste of your time and your money. Now, another major difference maker in the credit repair companies is going to be, do they have any type of extra knowledge? And by that I mean, do they only help you with disputes? Because disputing things isn't going to be the only thing that's going to need to happen in order to improve one's credit. Getting accounts removed isn't the end all. So they should also know how to help you build up credit and be able to advise you properly on what you need to do in that arena. And another thing to ask is, do they know what lenders are looking for, especially if you're trying to get a house? So having knowledge of what the lenders are looking for on your credit report is going to help get you to approval the fastest, because if they already know what they're looking for, they know how they need to help you with your credit and what needs to be worked on, what doesn't need to be worked on, so that once again time is not wasted and you're doing everything that's going to get you towards your goal. And now the number one difference maker for most people, what most people ask first, is about the pricing. The first thing to be aware of is companies that have one size fits all pricing, because somebody that has 10 million things on their credit report and somebody that has 2 things on their credit report are going to pay the same dollar amount for the service. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that the company is doing the same thing for everybody that steps in their door. But you can't tell me how a person can see success if they're doing the same thing for everybody, yet everybody's situation is different. So it's better to have someone with pricing that's customized to your unique situation, because that's going to be the only way that you know that they're actually doing things that are going to benefit you, and they're not doing too much more than what you need, and they're not doing too little compared to what you need. And there are also some companies out there that do a small one-time payment. Now, the reason why you want to be worried about this is people who are doing credit repair, they should be doing it as a business and not as a side hustle, because there are some people that'll do it. They'll take your money, like, maybe say you pay $300 or something like that, and then a lot of times what I hear from customers is that after they pay that money, they may have seen some stuff come in from the first month, but they don't see anything else after that. And then after that, the person that they gave the money to is pretty hard to get in contact with. And then they don't ever hear from the person again, and they don't ever see any results coming in anymore either. And the reason why that's going to happen a lot of times is going to be because if you give a person X amount of dollars and then you don't pay them anything else, they really don't have enough money to continue the process, which I told you it can take a few months. So you really only gave them enough money to only handle a little bit of time of doing disputes for you, and that's simply not going to get the job done. So again, you may have came out on a low end as far as coming out of your pocket, so you think you won, but because they can't get you all the results you need because you haven't given them enough money to do more, then you're going to see either limited results or no results. And also, that person that's taking the money on, they have to use that money towards their resources and everything, and they probably not going to have enough money to sustain their business taking a payment that small one time, so they're not going to probably be in business for too long anyway. Now, you also have companies that do a monthly pricing, which most people are familiar with, and that's what most companies do. You pay an X amount to get started, and then you pay an X amount monthly until your process is done. That's going to be the most common payment structure that most companies are going to have, and it's really the best type because the company can afford to stay in business and actually do the work that they need to do for you on a monthly basis and still provide you some type of value. And then there are some companies that do pay per deletion, where you might pay a startup fee, you may not, but then you only make payments to the company when they actually get certain items removed from your credit report, and it may be a different dollar amount based on the type of account that they get removed for you. This is going to be a good payment method because you know that you're only paying for results. And once again, I can't stress it enough, don't make the payment be the first thing that you're concerned about and the number one thing that you're concerned about. It is important to get a good value for your money, but you want to make sure of what that person is doing after you give them your money to make sure that you see results. Because if you pay them a small amount of money and you don't see any results, or you see very little results, was it really worth the money? But make sure not to get scammed and pay a person like a large amount of money, thousands of dollars up front before anything has even happened. That's also a big no-no. So you don't want to pay too much, you don't want to pay too little. You want to make sure that it's a reasonable amount, especially for what the person is doing for you. So I hope you find this information useful. If you've heard anything different as far as the differences in credit repair companies, or you've never heard of anything that I've mentioned before as far as knowing that that's a difference in the companies, please leave some comments below and leave me some feedback. If you like the video, make sure you put a thumbs up on it, and make sure you share this video so that others can get this useful information.